The Rafah border crossing is Gaza's only point of access by land that doesn't pass through Israel. For the Palestinians, it's a vital economic and humanitarian lifeline. But it's also a symbol of freedom and sovereignty. Israel has controlled it directly or indirectly since 1967. Even when it announced its forces were leaving Gaza in 2005, the movement of goods and people through the crossing remained subject to Israeli approval. Under international law, controlling the borders of a territory is considered an occupation, and Palestinians argue that the occupation is the reason they are in conflict with Israel. Earlier last month, the Israeli army took direct military control of the Rafah crossing. Israel says it was a necessary part of its preparations for a full-scale invasion of the city of Rafah in a final bid to defeat Hamas and other resistance groups. The move further complicated efforts to bring desperately needed humanitarian aid into Gaza and allow people requiring emergency medical care to be evacuated outside the besieged strip.
WFP is calling for all border crossings and crossing points within Gaza to be open, as the Israeli incursion in Rafah continues to have a devastating impact on civilians and our own humanitarian operations. Our friends at the World Food Programme warn that there is little the agency can currently do in Rafah, with stocks very low and mobility severely restricted.
The UN, the US and Egypt have been pushing for the immediate reopening of the Rafah and Karam Abu Salim crossings. The latter, at the southeastern tip of the Gaza Strip, is mainly used by trucks carrying humanitarian aid. It's fully under Israeli control. A key focus of current ceasefire talks is deciding the future status of the Rafah crossing. Egypt insists Palestinians should control it. Israel is adamant Hamas and other resistance groups should never be allowed to be in charge, claiming they could use it to smuggle in weapons. While efforts to start ceasefire talks continue, Palestinians say the restoration of life in Gaza will be impossible without the Israeli blockade being lifted. Mohammed, Vall, Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.